What is Troup Co's most pressing law enforcement issue, and how do you plan to address it?
I think without a doubt our most pressing law enforcement issue is drugs in Troup County. And that leads to other crimes. That leads to thefts, that leads to assaults, that leads to burglaries. That's a whole other variety of crimes that come along with illegal drug use. How do we address it? I think first of all we have to reach our young people. We have to be proactive, we have to go into the school system, we have to do the third grade junior deputy program, we have to tell these third graders to say no to drugs. I know they're young, but they need to hear it early. They need to get this from us as a friend to them. We need to go back in the 5th grade and talk to these young people that are going to middle school and tell them to say no to drugs, to say no to alcohol, to resist bullying, to resist peer pressure. We've got to get this message out there to our young people. Troup Kathy wrote a book, and I've been telling this everywhere I go, and the title of that book is, "It's Better to Build Boys Than Men." It's easier to try to prevent somebody from getting on these drugs and going down a path of destruction than trying to get them rehabilitated. Now my hat's off to the solicitor's office and to the judges that do try alternative things when they come before them to try to help them. And there are success stories. But it's easier for us, and it's better for us if we reach out to our young people. That's why I want to keep the school resource officers in the schools, not just for problems, and yes, there's problems sometimes, but also I want to keep them in there so that they can befriend these kids and they can tell these kids and reassure them that drugs are a dead end. You're not going to get a good job. You're not going to have a good home life. You're going to end up in jail or on probation or on parole. You're not going to be able to support your family. And so I think the most pressing issue overall is drugs. And the way we address that, we've got to address it through enforcement. When this doesn't work with our young people, we've got to enforce the laws. We've got to be hard on them. But I think we have to address our young people first and try to make a difference there.
We're in the law enforcement part of this. We're not in the rehab people. You know, I'm all for a junior deputy program. In 1993, I started a junior deputy program with the 3rd graders because we want to do something with our 3rd graders. We want to work with those people, and that's when we started that program. We started our DAM program in the 5th grade and went to the 5th grade and go to those children, talk to them about what's right and what's wrong and teach those. We had the junior deputy program. You raise your right hand, you're going to raise your hand and say, I'm going to obey my parents. I'm going to use my God-given talents. And we started that, and I'm all for that. That's what we want to do, but that's not my main issue. The last 4 years, we've arrested 1,600 people for drugs in Troup County. My main issue is money. I can promise you everything in the world, but if the Board of Commissioners doesn't have the money, you don't want to pay the taxes for 15 or 20 more deputies, there's nothing I can do to that. I want junior deputies program. We got them. We want chancellors. We got them. We want children not to use drugs. But when they do use them, we got to enforce our law, and that's what we're there. We're law enforcement. We're not rehabilitation people. That's got to come up later. We're going to continue to do that. If the Board of Commissioners would give me $20 more thousand, if you give you 2 more bills of your tax money, hey, we'll have all kind of programs you want to do that. But the life is, we're all short of money. I'm in budget cuts. I've cut 7 positions in my things. We've cut $981,000 in my budget. I can't pull a rabbit out of a hat and make something happen. I got to have the money to do that. I can promise you the world, but if the money's not there, if the programs aren't there, if the commissioners got everything to do, I'm just sitting here telling you a lie. I can't do it, but with the resources I've got, 1,600 people in Troup County have been arrested in the last 4 years. 6,000 people a year have been arrested and booked. In the last 10 years, 72,000 people have been booked in Troup County, Georgia. We're doing what we can with our resources, and we're going to continue to do what we can do with the resources that the money we have.
What I would like to see is putting the deputies back into the neighborhoods. And you know, all these programs, they're fine. The drugs is the problem. We know drugs is the problem with youth. There was a study done in Troup County maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, and I think the elementary kids was more dominant for us using drugs at an early age. And what I would like to do, I would like to put law enforcement back into the communities and work with the kids, work with the parents and the kids. Because it starts at home. If you want to target an at-risk kid, you need to start at home, work with the parent and the child. Because that parent would be more open to you at home, not at school. Because it's kind of embarrassing when a parent had to come to the school to work with a kid at the school. So I feel like if we could get our deputies back into the communities and be mentors for some of our kids and work with our at-risk kids at an early age while they're down here and not when they're up here. When they're up here, it's too late. We're going to have to arrest them, put them in jail. And just like we're saying, it's overcrowded now. That's not the answer. So I feel like what we need to do, we need to start at the resident, work with put more deputies back into the communities. I know sheriff's saying the budget is kind of bad right now, but we need to we need to find some deputies and put more deputies back into our neighborhoods and work with our at-risk kids at an early age, and that will prevent a lot of costs for our taxpayers.
I agree with everything they're saying, but my thing is to get more deputies and more presence out in the community now, and be more community active. And that was the Reserve Posse program that I want to get. We got retired military people, retired police officers that can volunteer their time and all to patrol the streets and all. It's being proactive and instead of reactive. And also, as far as the budget and all, the people that volunteer their time and all, it's not going to cost the county any funds except for maybe gas to patrol the streets and all. As far as the school programs and all like that, yes, that's good, but we do need to get, I mean, you cannot put a price on people's safety. And the only people that can be, to reassure their safety now is to be more proactive, get a community involvement. Right now, there's not really, as far as I'm concerned, there is no community involvement. I've asked a question before, people can name the name of the deputies that patrol their areas, and nobody can name the deputy's name that patrols their area. I mean, if we get more community involved, the community will help itself. We have to, you know, it's kind of like I was saying, you got to police yourself. And if the citizens want to be safe, then the citizens need to get involved.
Sheriff Hunter, this question begins with you. How does the Sheriff's Department interface with other law enforcement agencies in Troup County? And how do you foster good relations among the Troup County agencies?
I think the worst thing we talked about is just the recent thing in West Point, Georgia. West Point, Georgia's a little low on funds and different types of situations. With the environment there, the hostility with the new police chief and things of that nature, I think one of the greatest tools that's been invented is the tasers. We have an ASP. An ASP is like a nightstick that you can get people under control with. We have pepper spray we can spray you with. Like we did on the third floor of the hospital, we had to evacuate the hospital because of that situation on the third floor. But there has a thing called the taser. We use that taser to be able to get people under control instead of having to shoot those people. They couldn't do that. The Georgia State Patrol and myself went in together, bought tasers for those people to do that. We bought K9 units for the Grace Police Department because I don't have enough personnel that everybody can have a dog in every shift. When we need that, they've been able to come out and assist us with that. So we've been able to assist them with that. We've assisted the Hogansville Police Department with their neighborhood watches, with the things that they need up there. We've been there every time we could be there for our local community and our local law enforcement. We're going to continue to do that. We've been very lucky with the drug forfeitures in our community. We've been very lucky for 19 years. The Georgia State Patrol, the DEA, and the DEA have helped us with that, the immigration people. We've been very lucky to have those proceeds to do that. We're going to continue to support those people. We started out buying flashlights, buying little things. That brought in more things for us to use. We were able to use those things. But we've been there for every community that needed us and every law enforcement. We've got situations where we've been called in to help research things, bring in all our resources, ball games, anything we've done, we've been there for every agency in Troup County. We will continue to do so.
It's just like I was saying earlier, by bringing all the surrounding agencies together and have joint meetings once a month and discuss and target all the at-risk areas in the county. I think one of our problems having officers cross-trained so that they're able to handle any situation. I know there has been some times when there was maybe a crash or an accident, and it would take a deputy or trooper a long time to get to the location. I feel like if we had all our officers, our deputies trained to handle any situation that they're confronted with, then it would make it a whole lot easier on our citizens. I know there has been complaints about accidents where it takes so long for officers to get there. And then on some of our burglaries, it's taking a while. I don't know if their deputies are scheduled the wrong time at that time, but there has been some complaints about that was addressed to me. So I feel like if we would all meet together with all our surrounding agencies, then we can all work together. I know a long time ago when I was patrolling, what we would do, we would all meet and we would be just like a family, because if Troup County Sheriff's Department had a problem, then LaGrange Police Department had a problem. If Hogansville Police Department had a problem, then Troup County Sheriff's Department had a problem. It was just, everybody was like a family. We all work together. The criminals, they're not dumb. They know when you're working together and when you're not working together. So I feel like if we could work together better, that we can make Troup County a more safer place for citizens.
I believe that falls along the line of camaraderie and all within the county. I think the whole county should be such a tight-knit group, and right now I don't think that's happening. The people that I've talked to, there's always a animosity toward the sheriff's department helping this police agency or that police agency. I don't think it's a meshing type unit right now. It's a kind of I'm not going to help this one because of this, or I'm not going to help that one because of that. As far as the West Point deal is, they needed the tasers and all 2-3 years ago when Officer Jennifer Jones got injured because of a fight, and they had to wait for the Lynette Police Department to show up for their backup because the Lynette Police Department had tasers. I mean, if we was going to buy tasers and all, we should have bought them 3 years ago. And as far as working with the other police agencies, there's people in Hogansville that I don't know why, but there's animosity toward the police chiefs and all, because for one, they're not from there. And people tell me, why can't the sheriff's department patrol our streets? And to me, it goes back to being more community involved, get the people involved. West Point wanted a citizen review board, and I believe that the sheriff being the head law enforcement officer of the county and all, that he should head up that citizen review board, because the sheriff's supposed to represent the citizens and not just just the department itself. He's supposed to represent the people. And as far as getting them more involved and all, I think a citizen review board would be good.
I also echo what these gentlemen have said. I think there's 3 things we've got to look at. Number one is continue. When we have federal funds that we've confiscated from drug dealers and we can help other agencies buy needed equipment in West Point or Hogansville or LaGrange, I think we have to do that. They're our fellow law enforcement officers. They're our fellow brother that are out there doing the same thing that we're doing. I think we should do that. I think we should step up to the plate. Another thing, like I said earlier, is cross-training. We have to cross-train our officers to work together. If one of the deputies goes to Hogansville on any type call, that deputy should know what that police officer is going to do. That police officer should know what that deputy is going to do. There should not be any time that they don't know what each other's doing. Same thing with West Point, same thing with LaGrange. How do you do that? I believe you do it by having at least quarterly meetings with your top officials, with the sheriff, with the chiefs of police, with your supervisors, to sit down and say, what's going on in West Point that we need to know about? What's going on in Hogansville that West Point needs to know about? What's going on that Troup County needs to know about? And how can we put our minds together and figure out the problems and go at this as a team effort, rather than single individual agencies trying to do it alone? I believe that's what we have to do.